Hello everyone and welcome to a new series I'm starting on this revamped channel. This series is going to be called The Academy, as you could tell by the intro, and I feel like ordinary FIFA career modes are far too easy nowadays. If you just sign who you want to sign and use a big club and, you know, try and win the Champions League with Real Madrid or something, even with Arsenal or Liverpool or someone, it's far too easy. So I was inspired by a series on a YouTuber called Cutsy's channel. I'll leave his link in the description, and a lot of people have been doing it, but I hope to add my own twist to it. His series is called Youth Squad Legends, and it's essentially like other career modes, but you can only sign generated players, and you can only have players with a generated face, and you have to focus on the youth academy. You have to really try and bring those players through. You are allowed to sign players outside of the youth academy, but the focus is on the youth. And I'm going to be putting my own little twist on that. So I have the rules for this series here. The first season of the series is simulated, which is what you'll see here. Essentially, it's just trying to populate the squad with youth players, because you're only allowed to use youth players in this series. I can only use youth players. I'm doing it with Barnet here, and I can't use any real players in this series at any point, so that's why I'm simulating the first season. If I play a game, all 11 players plus the bench have to all be youth players. Maybe not the bench, I just can't, depending on whether I have the players for it, I just can't actually, no real players can ever be on the pitch when I'm playing, is what I'm trying to say, in an incredibly cack-handed long way. So I have the rules for the series here. Obviously the first rule is that I must only use generated players. As you can see, I'm setting up my scouts here. One star scouts for the first season, and then after that I'll be, upgrading at a rate of maybe 1 star per season, maybe 2 stars. Obviously we'll use our judgment on that when it comes to the time. But also I must sell all real players at the first opportunity. You'll see me transfer listing a few real players during the footage in the background. Those are the players that aren't useful to me in the first series, essentially the players with a low overall rating that I feel comfortable in selling in the first season when I don't have any youth players, and that I'll be simulating. But at the start of the second season, which is where this series is going to pick up next episode, I have to transfer list every real player, and the first bid that comes in for them I have to accept, which is why you see me training some of the players with higher attributes there and the goalkeeper, just so that they will have a higher overall by the time it comes to sell them, and I'll hopefully get as much money as I can for them, because finances are going to be a big part of this series. As FIFA 18 is coming out soon, the next rule is that I'm going to be simulating 2 months for every 1 month I play, which means when I have low overall players in the first few seasons, why do I keep saying series? First few seasons, it's going to be very difficult, and because they're not going to be picking up the points when I'm not playing, and even when I am playing, obviously the AI is going to give me a big challenge. So it's not going to be a meteoric rise. I don't think it's going to be quick in any means. And if I do think it's becoming too easy, because a lot of people in the community have said that Legendary is really easy this FIFA, then obviously I will take action, and I will tweak the sliders, maybe tweak the rules if necessary, to give myself a bit more of a challenge. So if there is time before FIFA 18 comes out, it's weird to be saying this in the first episode of a series, but I'm not confident that this is going to be finished. But if it is finished, the series will end when it reaches a natural conclusion. That might be much quicker than you think. This could be a prototype series. Ordinarily, series like this finish, when you win the Champions League, or maybe when you win the Premier League, when you do something absolutely massive. I'm not going to be setting myself any specific finish times like that. I'm just going to be finishing the series when it reaches a natural conclusion, is what I've got down here. And obviously, I think we'll know when the time comes. We'll know when I feel like I've taken this Barnet team as far as I can before FIFA 18 comes out. And so potentially it will finish, just not in the sort of way that you might expect watching one of these series. Now here is where the interesting ones come in. I will be implementing a number of rules to make things harder for myself. And so the first rule, and Cutsy, who is in the description, has done a few things similar to this year. My rules are a little bit different, so I'll explain them now. The max potential player clubs, the max potential players that will be interested in signing for Barnet through the academy are going to be as follows, because the absolute top players who are going to be the next Messis or Ronaldos are not going to want to sign for Barnet in League 2. And so you'll see me throughout this, the fast-forwarded footage in the background, getting scout reports from my scouts, and I'll be rejecting players in League 2 who have a max potential above 80. And there's a good reason for that, because, well, as I've explained, the absolute top players won't want to sign for us, and it would be too easy, because I'd have, 70, 80 rated players easily in League 1 and in League 2, and it would be absolutely ridiculous if I developed them through training. So in League 2 it will be 80. In League 1, there's no reward for it. It will be, again, 80. Now you might think 80 sounds quite high for League 2 and League 1, but I'll come back to that in a minute, why that's not going to be a problem. In the Championship, 85, max potential of 85 players might be interested. You see players coming through. Will Hughes at Derby could be a very good player in the future, and in the Championship it's a bit more common. Obviously Dele Alli did come through for MK Dons in lower down in the English league system, but it's quite rare, and it's far too easy to get good players wanting to play for you in this game. Like, obviously I've been rejecting a number of 94 rated players. Bear in mind my scouts are 1-star, and I'm an average at best League 2 club. In fact, I barely keep my job because we finished quite low this season, so it can get a little bit ridiculous. In the Premier League, max potential of 87 rated players will want to join us. And when we get to Europe, when we get to the Champions League or the Europa League, any players of any potential will want to join us, because that's when we become a truly prestigious club. When you get to the Premier League, players of unreal potential might be thinking, this is a fluke, Barnet in the Premier League. So it's just trying to add a little bit of realism to the series in that way. So that brings me on to my next point. In this game, it's also, as has been touched upon by other people in the community, far too easy for below average clubs to hold on to above average players, and it's far too easy to keep players in this game. So to add a bit of realism in that aspect, I must sell any player in my squad. Could be my star player, could be a player I don't care about, but I must sell them if I receive a bid of 1.5 times their valuation or more. So if I have a star player who's scored me 25 goals in the league by January or something stupid, and they're worth £1 million, if a team comes in with £1.5 million, I have to accept that offer. No negotiation, no trying to get a higher price, I have to accept that. Unless there is one stipulation to that. Unless the team that's coming in to buy them are a less prestigious club than Barnet. So I would check their star rating. If they're in a higher division, obviously they're straight off. If they're in the same division, but they're a worse team, then obviously I would not have to accept it, because in my mind that would mean that the player wouldn't necessarily want to go there. So that should make things more difficult. So any signings outside of the youth academy, when it comes to potential or overall a fair game, provided I have the money, which is why finances are so important. So if I saw someone on the free agents list and Ronaldo's regen was somehow on there, if I had the money to sign him, to pay his wages, I would be allowed to do that under these rules. It's only the youth academy that have those stipulations, because money talks to non-academy players. And it's not just the free agents list. If I wanted to sign someone for another club, if I had the money to pay them in order to sign them, then that's also fair game. And so a lot of these players that I sell under the rules of this series could well come back at a later time. And another problem with youth series in career mode on this game in particular is that youth players will continue to accept ridiculously low contracts throughout their entire career. If a player comes through your academy and they end up becoming 92 rated, obviously you can sign them for 425, I think it is, pounds initially out of the youth academy, and they just continue to accept ridiculously low contracts to the point where the best player in the world, ratings wise, could be on like £7,000 a week eventually, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I've set up my own list of what I have to pay players in order to keep them happy at the club, and it is non-negotiable based on overall to make things a bit more challenging. So if a player gets to 65 overall, I have to offer them a contract of £3,500 to keep them. 70 overall, £7,000. 75 overall, you're getting into gold and ultimate team territory over here, so at least £15,000 is what I say that they should be earning. 80 overall, good Premier League player at this point, that's 30 grand, they're going to want at least £30,000. 85 overall, getting into borderline world-class territory, they're going to want at least £80,000. And 90 plus overall, they're getting into best in the world bracket there, so they'll want at least £120,000. And I have to be a little bit more lenient than what would necessarily be realistic in today's market, because I don't believe we're ever going to be a rich enough club that we can afford to have a lot of players on above £120,000. So in order to make it difficult but not impossible for myself, those are the rules I've devised. One thing I will say about this series, guys, is that all of the rules that I've just outlined are negotiable. They are up for tweaking. If I find that it's too easy or too difficult, we're not getting anywhere, or we're getting places far too quickly, then I will adjust them. But I think that is a balanced rule set at the moment. I'm not necessarily going to say that it's all perfect because I haven't tested them yet. This will be the test, and in many ways this series is a bit of a prototype series for things that I might be doing in the future. In FIFA 18, for instance, we won't be simming 2 months for every 1 month played. We'll be trying to play as much of it as possible if we do this series again, because we'll have a full game cycle rather than a couple of months to try and build this story up. And obviously, at the end of the day, I'm not going to claim I'm the best FIFA player in the world, but I'm decent, and this is a storytelling series. So ultimately, we want to build stories around the players, we want to build stories around Barnet as the club I've chosen this time. It's not really about solid results based, let's get there and win the Champions League as quickly as possible. Stories are only good if there's ups and there's downs, so if we're constantly in amazing form and constantly just beating everyone who comes in front of us, in what world is that an entertaining series? That's the way I feel about it anyway. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this series. It is a new experience for me because this is a revamped channel. In my old channel, I didn't actually finish any of the series. So I'm hoping that I can at least come to some sort of natural conclusion on this one and hopefully revamp this again in FIFA 18. There are a few more things I'm going to want to do with this channel, such as I play a lot of pro clubs. If I can record any sessions of that and upload them here, then it is quite an entertaining game mode because of all the bullshit that the game tends to throw at you. So that might be an interesting thing to upload on the channel. And I don't intend for this just to be a FIFA channel. Other games, of course, are also fair game to upload on the channel. Hopefully I'll be able to think of some good games to play and upload on this channel at some stage. Because I did used to do YouTube back in the day. If any of my previous subscribers are still subscribed to the channel and see this video and click on it, then welcome back. I'd be surprised, but welcome back. And I have missed doing YouTube in many ways. I haven't missed some aspects of it, but I have missed other aspects of it. And another note on this series, as a result of that, this won't be a series that's uploaded every day. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers. I'm doing this purely for fun, and there's not necessarily any upload schedule. It's whenever I feel like uploading an episode, whenever I have the time to record one, because I'm going into my 3rd year of university, and I'm fearing that it might be quite demanding, but hopefully I'll be able to find the time to upload. And also another aspect of this series that I forgot to mention, there probably will be facecam on every episode except this one, because obviously those will be live com. This is the only one that's going to be necessarily a post com. So hopefully that will be something that you guys will look forward to. I'm hoping I can get my camera working. It hasn't really been working so far. It's like a sports motion camera. So I've been trying to get it to give me some decent footage, not for that purpose, so hopefully it can do that. But yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy the series. I'm looking forward to it. As you can see, I'm naming my file here. Please don't sack me, is what I named the file. just in case Barnet sacked me, because then I'd have to do the whole thing again, or at least I'm hoping if I save it here, sort of, they just won't sack me. And luckily they didn't sack me, so I will be ready to come at you with pre-season and possibly maybe the first couple of games of the actual season next time. The actual series will be more edited than this video was. This was just sort of an outline, introductory video to the series, and I hope to make this, you know, pretty professionally made. I hope that you'll enjoy it. It will be more professionally made than this episode. It will be more cut together, you know, there'll be less rambling. This episode was just really to outline the rules and let you guys know the premise of the series. So I hope you're looking forward to the actual start of the series as much as I am. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. I will see you next time.